So we're going to demo how we use setip.io in this demo to publish a sample of the setip.io website that is running on the left side of the screen here, but locally. So it's not running right now, so we're going to go, it was a previous screen. We're going to run the React version of the setip.io website portal, and we're going to start by making sure that it's running locally properly, and it is on port 3007. So we can do already. One thing is to connect to the same app running here, but through what's called the magic URL, which is a URL that is built from the customer number .wg0.io, and then before that the IP address of the endpoint. The endpoint now is the computer I'm running this demo from, and we have the endpoint running on IP ending with a 0.8. That's how my WireGuard client is configured, and it's running on port 3007, which is where the React app running on the laptop is listening to incoming connection. That's the port, that's the React app port for listening to incoming connection. So when people go to this URL on the web, or any alias to this DNS name, they will be forwarded to that website running on my laptop, which log shows here in my terminal. Now, that being said, there's also the ability to attach a name if your domain is associated with your account, and that's what we're going to show now. So we're going to log in to the setip.io account, and we are going to be connecting to the account. That's the wrong one. We want to do that on the full site. This one is not configured for the database, so the site was running, but the backend is not running. That's shown in another demo. Anyway, so we're going to go on the production side, and we're going to be logging in. And this is where we want to be for our demo right now. So here we see that we have existing sites running. So the setip.io site, which is this site, is running off a web app listening on the same IP on port 5000, and a bunch of other apps are available, and they're all reachable. So what we want to do here is we want to use an existing app, for example this one, and we're going to change the name, and we will call it, for example, dev2.setip.io, and it will be using this IP address, the one we're connected from, and it will be listening, connecting to port 3007. So if we save this configuration, we should be able to connect to dev2.zip.io and not have to use our complicated URL that we connected to earlier. And this takes about a few minutes until the DNS propagates. So I'll find you back here in a few minutes. Thank you. We now run our app. So we just do an npm run start. And we make sure that it's running. And we have now our development server running. So now we want to go to dev.zip.io and it should be able to show us the code running here. In fact, if we were to stop the server here, it would stop also the connection here. So if we were to stop the server here and reload, it would not work. It would just idle there until it realizes that the server is down, and then it will send an error message. But if we start it again, it should come back by the time it times out. So I don't think it's going to time out by the time that we launch the app again. We never know. So that is localhost is launched through by the app when it's done launching. So that's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is this one, but it should come back up soon as the app is compiled here. So the site is showing here, but it is not loaded. It's still loading. You should see that it's still loading because we can stop it from loading, which we will do as soon as and that's it. Now we reload the site. You see it's fully loaded and the certificates are properly set automatically.